I'm back at Trapper Park in Logan, Utah. We completed 200 birds, which is absolutely amazing. I've been working towards that goal for 2 years now. Once you hit that goal, you want to stretch yourself even further. Now starts the road to 250 Cache County. We have a fresh start. We're at 0%. We need 50 birds before, the next 2 years pass. And I'm currently at Trapper Park again, looking for a Cassin's vireo. The downside to this time of year, late August, is that birds aren't up singing. They're really difficult to get on camera. They're a lot more skulky. And also it's hard to time evening birding right. Sometimes the birds aren't active until like 10, 15, 30 minutes before the sun goes completely down. We're out here about an hour and a half before the sun goes down. So let's see if we can find any birds. We did, however, pick up a belted kingfisher that I've been searching for in this area, at least to get on camera for days. I've heard it constantly, but now we finally got it on camera. Let's see what other birds we can find. All right, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty tough out here right now. We've gotten 1 bird on camera. We have 7 birds total, or 8 on our list. It's just not birdie right now. It was really hot today, so I'm not actually surprised. Obviously, we're gonna keep going, but tonight I'm actually going owling, so that should be a fun little adventure as well. Yeah, I see one of the main killers of birds over here. A feral cat out here in the field. Please keep your cats indoors. They are actually horrendous for the environment. But yeah, hopefully we can see some more birds before it gets dark. I don't know how much success we'll have trying to see birds after dark, or at least getting them on camera. Pretty confident that we'll at least hear an owl or 2. Not as confident that we'll actually see them. So we're gonna continue down this trail. We're almost to the end. We'll flip back around, see if we can find anything cool, and then keep it going. I made my way further down the path, walking across boardwalks in the evening light. A song sparrow made itself known from within the dense vegetation. This is a bird we see a lot here on the channel, but I rarely talk about it. Song sparrows are found throughout North America and tend to vary in their plumage by region. They are also master nest builders and will often utilize the same nesting sites year after year, even if it's not the same exact birds. Well, we got some magpies in a field, and we made it to kind of the end of the line for me here. So we're gonna have to turn around. And unfortunately, nothing. Hopefully we find something on the way back. Every single owl species I'm searching for tonight, besides great horned owl, is a target, something I haven't seen close to my home. So if we get anything owling, that's 1 more towards our 250 goal. But again, I just hope I get some more stuff for you guys on camera. I'm sure I will. It tends to happen. Birds come in big waves near the end, sometimes in the parking lot when you're packing up. So let's see what we can find. I found myself below an overpass, which was absolutely teeming with life. This was a city of barn swallows who form their nests using mud on the artificial man-made walls of the overpass. These are one of the few species that have directly benefited from some human disturbances, often building their nests on the bottom of overpasses and bridges. The light was absolutely beautiful, and I hoped for an opportunity for some photos of birds with the golden light shining down. I've been on a photo slump lately, and I haven't been able to get any good shots of birds. The light is just beautiful, and there are no birds to catch in this golden light behind me. I think sunset light is absolutely incredible. I'd love to come out and get some shots of birds. But again, not a lot of luck today. That's just late summer, and honestly, afternoon birding is kind of hit or miss. So got about halfway to go, and then we're gonna head out and do some owling. Right when I stopped that clip, I did pick up 2 birds out in that golden sunlight. Cedar waxwing perched up really, really nicely. They're beautiful birds. They're called waxwing for that little rubbery orange color on the tips of their wings, or yellowish color on the tips of their wings. They're really beautiful. They have a black mask, look kind of like superheroes. And then we got an American goldfinch that came and landed too, right next to it. So 2 beautiful birds perched up for us, just like I asked. Put it out there in the universe and they came. I admired the cedar waxwing for a few moments longer. You can barely see its waxy orangish wing highlights jutting out just below its belly. American goldfinches fluttered all around me. If you need help identifying these birds from lesser goldfinches, check out my Goldfinch ID guide after this video. The main highlight of my trip was meeting this black-capped chickadee. They came right up to me, and I found them to be some of the most curious birds in the world. Chickadees are interesting as they live in hierarchical societies. This means that when food is scarce, they actually kick out the younger, lower-ranking birds to new areas. What fascinating birds. All right, so the owling trip went really, really well. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to vlog as much as I'd want to. It was pitch black dark, and y'all weren't gonna be able to see the owl most likely anyways, unless I put a big spotlight on it, which is hard to do in itself. So, and I don't know if I totally agree with that form of gathering owl media, right? But we did end up getting a new species for Cache County. Number 201, we've broken through saw-whet owl, and I did get this audio clip. It's a little bit dim, but you can hear the screech of the saw-whet owl. I'll take a listen. But today we have a very exciting long shot adventure. I'm back at Benson Marina. Y'all are probably like, why are you back at Benson Marina? Well, I'm back here because just the other day, someone found a parasitic Jaeger, which would not only be a lifer for me, but would be an incredibly rare bird for Cache County. Unfortunately, they found the bird seemingly wounded or stunned. It couldn't really get up off the ground. It was kind of flapping all over the ground, so they thought they were gonna have to call a rehabber. They left it, and when they came back, the bird was gone. That means one of two things. One, the bird's all right and it flew away, or the bird's still nearby and we could find it today. So let's see what birds we can find.
My first encounter was this lark sparrow hopping in front of me on the path. It actually took me quite a long time to ID this bird for some reason, and I think it's partly because I'm still looking for my lifer clay-colored sparrow. Slicing through the calm surface of the water was a western grebe. Their croaking calls filled the air like a chorus, and I couldn't help but admire how unique these birds truly are. In the distance swam a group of American coots. One of the more abundant birds in my area, American coots might look innocent, but they are direct enemies to ruddy ducks. A group of American white pelicans fed together near the surface. These birds will often corral their food, forming blockades and feasting on the fish trapped between them.
So 2 hours is actually a pretty long time for an injured bird to try to survive. There's other predators like raccoons. They would take advantage of an injured bird, even a bird as aggressive as a parasitic Jaeger. So like I mentioned before, this is quite the long shot, but I can't imagine not trying. If it did end up taking off, which is, it's not unlikely, birds can be pretty resilient sometimes. If it did end up taking off, I can't imagine it went far, but you never know. It could have taken off and headed 50 miles south. I'm checking all these little areas, like investigating a crime scene. Stick with me. Let's see if we run into it. All right, so we made it to the end of the line. We're obviously well past the point that the parasitic Jaeger was last seen. However, we did pick up a rare bird. The sage thrasher from a few adventures ago, or last adventure, I believe, still continues. So it's still out here on the causeway. I'm gonna see if I can possibly get some good photos of that bird. I knew this was going to be a long shot coming into it, and I'm not surprised that it wasn't just sitting there, obviously, for me to find. I've tried to see parasitic Jaegers and other Jaeger species in Utah in the past and dipped on them, but only one time. So this would only be the second time trying to find this annual visitor to the state of Utah. Very sporadic visiting bird as well. But we still, you know, you never know. We're still gonna head back, and then maybe I go after one more target today, see if we can get our 202nd bird on our way to 250. If not, we'll see what we can find.
A brewer sparrow perched beyond the glow of a yellow flower. Reeling through the air above was a double-crested cormorant. These birds experienced a comeback in the 1970s when the harmful pesticide DDT was banned. This allowed the birds to reestablish themselves throughout North America. Hopping on a bridge, a song sparrow foraged for food, hoping for an easy meal on the exposed wooden planks. Flying silently above my head was a flock of white-faced ibis heading south for the winter. As I made my way back to the car, I spied a brewer's blackbird perched up in the trees. I haven't seen one of these birds in a little while, so it was great to get reacquainted with it. Well, we tried our best, but we did not find the parasitic Jaeger. Again, that was a really big, long shot. I had to go try to find it though, because that would have been a lifer, and it's really hard for me to get lifers in Cache County at this point. And also it would have been, you know, a county bird, which is, we're trying to reach 250 birds in Cache County, and I just love meeting new species and understanding new species and at least observing new species. So we had to try it regardless. Unfortunately, there hasn't been anything that I haven't seen yet reported in Cache County for the last 12 days. The last thing that was reported that I haven't seen is a Baird sandpiper, and we've already gone looking for that several times at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna go hit Amalga Barrens, hope there's water in Amalga Barrens. If there's water at that hot spot, that is a great place for shorebirds. And right now, I just would love to see semi-pollinated sandpiper. I believe that might be a lifer for me, and Baird sandpiper as well. So we're gonna go try out that spot. If you don't hear from me, you'll see me in just a second to wrap up this video. I made my way to the fields of Amalga Barrens, hoping that somehow they had flooded despite the lack of rain. Unfortunately, they were extremely dry. That didn't mean there wasn't birds though. This American kestrel perched itself on a wooden fence post looking for an easy meal, scurrying through the grass below. Another bird of prey, the red-tailed hawk, also surveyed the scene from a higher perch. Did you know that there are 16 subspecies of red-tailed hawks in North America? I just did a video on that, so make sure to give it a watch as well. Finally, I saw some prehistoric birds, sandhill cranes, picking through a field for good eating. These birds will always be some of my favorites. I grew up in Utah my whole life, and I can't believe that my only memory as a kid seeing these birds was one of the few times I visited Florida. When you don't look for something, it's amazing how we miss it. All right, baby is here and is doing amazing. Mama and her are both doing so well so far, and it's just been amazing to have her in our life for the last week now. In fact, I have to go feed her in just a couple minutes, so thank you so much for watching this video. I know things have been a little bit slower as I've birded closer to home, and that may continue for just a couple weeks, but we have some incredible things planned coming up, including a collaboration with some of your favorite bird tubers out there, where they're trying to go find the most spooky birds in their regions from all over the world, as well as October Big Day coming up real soon. Remember that over on the Bright-Eyed Birding Learn channel, I post a video once a week with awesome informational content as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you all next time on Bright-Eyed Birding.